Hi, my name is Erin Gibbs. I'm from Colorado Springs, Colorado. I have 3 children, now 14, 16, and 18, and all 3 of them have gone through SCORE Academy. My oldest graduated May of 2021, and we've had a great experience. So my oldest son graduated in May of 2021. He will be a student at the University of Miami Business School next year. He's taking a gap year. I have to say that my experience with Dominic going through almost 4 years of school with SCORE, getting into 90% of the colleges that he applied to with scholarships, he was extremely well prepared for the application process, and I believe he is very well prepared for the academics that are ahead. So in the beginning, it was actually just my oldest son. We were helping him transition from regular public school to an online world where he could travel and train and compete in equestrian sport. Initially, we asked that he mimic that home curriculum so that if anything failed, if anything went downhill, he could easily transition back to school in Colorado. But it was very hard to find a program that had the same courses. So we ended up with him on 4 different programs, 4 different logins, 4 platforms, and it was way too hard to manage. And he really fell behind and wasn't thriving. At the end of his freshman year of high school, that's when all of this was happening. SCORE was one of those 4 platforms that we were using. And it was the only program that had real teachers, people I could call, people Dominic could connect with and build a relationship with through his classes. And he clearly was most accountable, most responsible, and learning the most with the SCORE program. So at the start of sophomore year, we just went full-time with SCORE and let go of all the other programs. Well, it really worked well for us in particular because we started going to Florida every winter. So he wasn't full-time online by himself all year long. He could attend in person, make friends, meet people, make connections, know his teachers personally, which was really valuable for us having that time in Florida. And then the rest of the year be virtual. And I want to be clear that it's not just an online school that you log into and you send things into a black hole. You actually meet with real teachers. It's real time, it's synchronous, so you have to be in your class at certain times. People are looking for you. And it really raised, I think, Dominic's level of attention to his work. He knew that someone cared, and that really created a caring student out of him in return. So he transitioned at the end of his freshman year, and then was full-time with SCORE at the start of sophomore year. Not long after, my daughter, who wants to be every bit as competitive as Dominic, asked if she could do the same thing. And it happened that the pandemic hit, our schools shut down, the academic world fell apart, but SCORE was 100% solid in everything that they were doing. We even moved my middle child, who is not an equestrian, not a traveler, and loves his posse of friends in regular high school. We moved him to SCORE as well. And so last year we had all 3 kids full-time at SCORE Academy. And for us as a family and for their academic experience, it was amazing. There was no interruption to their learning. So we attend SCORE Academy in Wellington, their school in Wellington, and Maggie Alexander is there. Maggie is an equestrian. She's a lifelong educator as well, and she is great with figuring out and connecting with the students and really understanding what their strengths and challenges are. So we sat down with Maggie to really develop a high school curriculum that was going to bring out the best in each of my kids. They're all extremely different. They have very different brains, very different strengths. So what I really liked is she got into their minds and created a custom experience for them in courses, not only in the required courses in the core curriculum, but what kind of extra classes they could take, independent studies they could come up with for credit. And she really turned a lot of creative things into part of the curriculum. So it was really fun to be a part of that development, where I feel like in a regular school, you just have to fit into the box and basically check those boxes, where at SCORE you get to really define what's going to get you to the kind of college, the best fit for you or for your kid. They really specialize in that. So for Dominic and Jordan, who are both equestrians and live in the crazy, unpredictable scheduling of horse show life, they are very understanding if there's a competition day that runs long and things need to be pushed back or rescheduled. They're very flexible and understanding in those instances. They still hold the kids very responsible for the work they may miss, but they're not penalized for what may be out of their control in the horse show world and the horse training world. And if they're on an airplane or especially in our situation, coming back home, which is so nice, they accommodate the time change. And if they're not able to log in because of travel delays or whatever else, they're always just very open to making things work. For my middle son, who's not an equestrian, but is still doing a lot with SCORE, they've been really great working with our public school to do a hybrid program for him. So he's now part-time at our local public high school and part-time with SCORE. So he's really developing the best learning situation for him and for his future and to get into the kind of schools that he wants to.